Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Innovantage podcast, where business meets tech to bring you your competitive edge. As always, I'm your host, Max, and it is my ongoing job and duty to explore that edge between business and tech and to find out something interesting for you to listen to. And today's topic is a very special one. It's a contrasting one that I rarely ever do. We're going to be having more than one guest, and we're going to be having more than one take on innovation, and a very different takes on innovation within the public sector and the private sector, within different areas of, well, business and tech. To help me on that journey today, so one of my guests is Jonas Valuta, who is the head of asset management and sales at LTG Competence Center, and Vidas Vasiliauskas, who is the CEO and product creator at Teamhood. Welcome guys to the show.
Hey.
So, Vidas, since you're across from me, let's start with you. What's your background? How did you become the CEO? What does product creator even mean?
Yeah, so to make it short, probably product creation, or in general, the word creator is the essence. That's my background. I like to create things. I'm an engineer by my education, software engineer, but in general, it doesn't matter for me whether I solve problems by building something, painting something, or by organizing and leading people to build something. So in essence, that's the same. And that's why I prefer that product creator title. And I love to create digital products that are used by various peoples and just, make their life easier.
Makes sense. And what does Teamhood do?
So my company, Teamhood, we're operating in a project management software space, and we're building a product that bridges the gap between simple software, where there are many tools in the market, and there are very complex tools, like people know, like Jira, SAP, all that stuff. Yeah. But there are a plethora of companies that require something of both, like this golden middle, still simple, yet already a bit powerful. And this is where I want to plug the hole, bridge the gap of the market with Teamhood. Makes
sense. A startup through and through with a revolutionary idea to streamline things that people are tired of. Jonas, what about you?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm Jonas. I work as a head of asset management and sales, and my experience in LTG company comes from 7 years of work. I started as a project manager, and I saw all asset transformation, how the company split into subsidiaries. Then those subsidiaries implemented the SAP system. So I've seen the journey, and I see the hard journey ahead that is awaiting us. So a lot of challenges.
So what does asset management within LTG do? Like, for our listeners who don't know, LTG is the National Railways of Lithuania, right?
Yes, it's a Lithuanian Railways company. It operates as a holding. It has 5 subsidiary companies that are responsible for different business models. For example, railway infrastructure, freight, passenger transportation. So what asset management is, it's like the whole legacy, because LTG is a company that's over 100 years old, and it started in 1861 when the first railway tracks were introduced from St. Petersburg to Lithuania. So we have a huge compiled asset portfolio in our backpack, and we have to manage it. It's everything from the railways, from the buildings, from the rolling stock, and so on. So you name it. It's a very asset-heavy company.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine the amounts of assets that exist there. So then, coming to the discussion of our episode here today, innovation. What is your take on innovation? So Jonas, let's start with you this time. What do you think? How does innovation fit into asset management with LTG?
Well, since we are already established, it's a very asset-heavy company. So unlike tech innovation, you have to do it incrementally. You have to analyze all the base that you have, and then you have to take all the legacy systems that you have, and you have to master all the data from them, and then you have in nowadays built transitional mechanisms to integrate into modern data sets. So that is like one kind of innovation from data point of view. Another part of innovation, for example, is like a corporate innovation strategy. You have a different like business models. You take those business models and you see what those business models encompass, which asset bases, which asset structures, and then you try to update them or make them work differently. So you cannot like shift the switch and in 1 month build an MVP, minimum viable product, launch something new. So lean startup methodology is different in a huge corporations. Maybe you can also allocate some different funding, like separate funding for innovation. That we do also at LTG to do like pilot projects. So it's different kind of ways. But if you imagine you take a huge asset base, you do some optimization on some innovation, you change like 2% of impact there, and it translates immediately to hundreds of thousands of euros.
Oh, yeah. That whole process does not sound like it's too fast, right?
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Yeah, it depends where you look at it. So we have different teams. It's a huge corporation, so over 6,000 people, and I'm only responsible for one part, and that part exactly is like real estate data management in the SAP RFX module, and also so you see when you want to like do a fast innovation. If we take like AI, we can do like this. We have a team from HR that made an inside pilot project, and they made open AI based tool for HR queries.
Yeah.
So they did that. They developed the proof of concept in 1 month, and they then went into the corporate machine, got all the improvements, and they launched it. So that is one way putting it. When you take asset innovation, for example, you have a train. Train has a camera. The train is moving through Lithuania, and he films everything. You can integrate the visual data, and you can calculate how many passengers are getting into the train, what's happening around the station. So you can translate those previously data sets that were unused, and you can use them in a different ways. So also another example, like for example, those acoustic walls, when you have trains going through the city and have acoustic walls to reduce the sound, we put solar panels on the side. So we generate electricity. So it's like a side benefit also. So there is
Who would have guessed? Having a lot of assets helps in building new innovation. But Vidas, what about you? You're a startup. You're trying to disrupt an existing marketplace of existing solutions.
Asset poor.
Asset full, yeah.
asset light.
or digital asset heavy. My assets are in digital world. So sorry, I jammed. So the same question about what it means.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, how do you face innovation where you don't have as many assets?
I would say it's universal, and I think there is no big divide in what type of company you are. It's just different areas that you can probably attack with the innovation. In essence, everywhere you are, I think there are like 5 things. I don't remember that well, but either you can make something faster, cheaper, or you can take something from one area and apply it in an area where it was never applied. And in technology space, it's mainly like different ways of working. So, for example, like in my specific case, it's we want to be way faster to market because competition is crazy in digital space. I'm not competing with a few companies in Lithuania. I'm competing with hundreds of companies or thousands of companies across the world.
True.
Of course, we can discuss what is competing and geographically, culturally, but in general, that's the reality of digital world. So for me, being faster than my competition is like I always say to my team, in the triangle of projects, like cost, quality, and speed, for us, speed is always on. There is no discussion. It doesn't mean quality needs to be crap, but still, speed is the essence. And it doesn't matter then what is the underlying innovation itself. If we have goals like we want to ship more value to our customers, or we want to reach more customers with the same resources, or we want to be efficient on how we like do marketing, maybe to reduce the budget and invest it in our R&D products. So that's just, again, something's faster or cheaper or just simpler in different way.
That's a good point, because Jonas also mentioned speed, and it can happen in LTG, but I have a feeling that with a startup, the level of speed that you would be used to is still much higher than a larger organization can make it. So like, what is a fast implementation for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would like still to place a remark. I think we should not treat that company size defines the relative speed. And I worked in a bank, in Danske Bank in Lithuania, with thousands of employees the same way. And I can confirm that I was able to achieve not like exactly the same speed as a startup, but very close. And why is that? Because there was freedom to act.
Yeah,
To take decisions, and the less stakeholders you have, the faster you move. That's the simple reality. So of course, small company has less stakeholders. Unless your product is, used by millions of users, then those users are stakeholders, and then you're a bit slower. And my competition, like famous Jira, they are slow. They cannot punch in a way we do.
Yeah.
Though so establishing that part, right?
Yeah,
So speed is not an issue if you're willing to do that. But in terms of what is fast, shipping things in hours, which are impacting users, that's the speed.
Oh, wow.
So you can do that, and it's not an issue. And in highly competitive market, people do recognize it by examples like a user comes in, says, it doesn't matter to one of my employees or me, I still speak to users, and they say, okay, Vidas, there's an issue in the system due to time zone saving time. We have this calculation mismatching. And what do you know? I pass to the engineers, and they already know what's the problem, and we can ship it with a few button clicks, and that's it. And user says, wow, I've never seen that.
That makes sense.
So that's what a small company can do.
Yeah. So Jonas, I'm guessing even the fastest of your projects cannot react within hours to user feedback still. I don't want to say anything bad about LTG, but that would seem out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, well, let's not jump to the conclusions. It's a giant, but still has some moves in it. So we also have like modern systems for our clients where they can get direct feedback about our services. Well, of course, if we need to change something, we already immediately go into the asset world, into the physical world, where you have like a rolling stock, you have railways, underground buildings, and to move things there fastly. So it's a different kind of game. So we have also IT systems we can change this faster there. So
yeah, so
and digital is easier.
Yeah,
Let's take it for granted. I mean, digital is easier. It's very easy to push the bits, instead of pushing real bolts and bricks outside.
True. But from my conversations previously, I've noticed that for physical businesses, it also kind of instills a certain tempo, a certain, I don't know, culture, I guess, of working. You are limited by the physical speed, so you adjust the digital delivery culture to that physical speed, and the way that you develop the business becomes kind of dictated by that limitation, where you need to spend more time thinking about the next feature, or collecting more user feedback than just reacting like this. And I'm not saying that this is inherently a good thing, but it has its positives and downsides, I'm sure. So again, we are tied on the speed. Huge corporations can be fast if they need to. Startups are fast by definition. They must do that to survive. What is then the next thing in innovation? If speed is out, we have still the quality and the price. So what do you think about, well, you mentioned quality, right? Is still a factor with this for you. So how do you maintain that quality, and what is kind of the measuring level that you use for quality?
Yeah, so very good question, because you cannot just have everything, right? At the same time, that's the magical triangle of projects, right? So you choose two usually, and that's the crazy game of balance. And it depends on the time where you are at. If you're building a proof of concept, and usually that's what I would go anytime, and I'm doing it right now as well. I go full speed and then lower price because I need to go to push something through the door, get feedback, understand whether this is gonna stick or it's a complete nonsense that we figured out and nobody wants it. So I need to go back to the drawing board. So having fast and cheaper is better in there, because if the idea is that good, we have plenty of examples. People can line up, queue up, and ask for a product, even if it's, breaking or cracking. But if it's the lone or sole product that offers this groundbreaking or different approach that's valuable, people don't care. Same can be evident in like AI tools. That all of them are treated like they built on the AI. AI means fast, but also that means lower quality. They're shipped very fast because competition and whatnot. And all of them has evidence of poorer quality than usually crafted product, which took few years to polish and spit out in the market.
True. I just today I watched like I wouldn't call it a documentary, but like a series of videos on OpenClaw, the whole journey of how it was created and how it was implemented and the initial user feedback. Insane, right? That speeds and the levels of like how you can just speed run the whole startup life cycle is just insane. Like that, you're just fidgeting around with your own stuff, and then you're bought by Mark Zuckerberg because he likes you. But in any case, why I remember the story is because the quality in and of itself is kind of there, but the security is not. Like the main thing that it is being criticized for is how vulnerable it is to outside influence. And I feel that since you mentioned AI, I think that's one of the things that are underreported or underconsidered, especially in the investors' point of view of how secure it is.
Those could be divided, like quality and security, as like separate characteristics, non-functional characteristics. But in essence, I think it's very close. It's the same thing, because if even in the physical world, like if you buy a phone and it explodes, is that a security testing quality issue? Was it hacked because it exploded? Nobody knows, but the quality is crap, right?
Yeah.
So it ends up in the same, junk box of perceiving how people perceive the product.
Indeed, I would agree with that. So, Jonas, then a question to you. On the same level, do you still struggle with a larger organization between those three portions of the triangle? Do you still have to choose between something that is quality, fast, and...
We live in the same planet, I guess. So like everyone else, we adopt the same laws of physics. What a joke, I can tell you, but I used LLM and they made the circle into the triangle into a circle, and they did all the lines in the circle around. So you do everything together. But talking more seriously, yes, of course. And when you mentioned the security aspect, LTG, it's a number one thing, because you operate as one of the biggest companies, state-owned company, and the security is of utmost importance for us, because we're also military, huge interaction with them, with the logistics. So our data must be secure. So it's a utmost priority. LTG was one of the first companies in Lithuania that adopted AI Governance Act and released it. So for all the employees and all the outside partners to make sure and validate that we comply and we bring quality by security. That's also our selling point. So everyone can be learn from us, because EU AI Act is going to be implemented and going to enforce in this year, August. So everyone's going to have a very interesting time who's now living by different rule set.
Unless it's postponed.
Yeah, well, already preparing for it. So yeah, that triangle also works for us. And I guess what we do, we search for the utmost value for our customer. Maybe we can shift like one pole for triangle, but our customer doesn't need it, but he needs those two. He needs time and he needs a price. Then we can maybe reduce the quality and so forth. So what's the best for our customer that we do?
Yeah. That makes sense. Instead of taking the train, you can just walk along the lines. You'll get there eventually, but it's going to be very cheap.
Yes. Something like that. Also, our trains have like different value proposition. You can buy the first class, the second class tickets. So there's options to choose.
True. And I guess, again, the wealth of assets gives you a bit of a flexibility when you approach.
Yes, and huge responsibility to manage them efficiently. If we manage those assets efficiently, we increase the value proposition for our customers by reducing our costs. So it's a huge strain and a huge responsibility for our company.
Then what comes to mind to me is the question of governance, enterprise governance specifically. You mentioned the implementation of the AI Act as one example, like external pressure, regulatory pressure. It's felt much more on larger organizations than it is on startups. And again, like you just mentioned, it's much easier to adapt faster to anything changing in the market than to be prepared for it in advance. While LTG or a company of the same type will probably need to be planning in advance in order to be ready for something like this. But we've all touched a little bit on AI, and I want to ask you, what's your general feeling and opinion in your spheres on AI? Is it the next big thing that will transform your industries, or is it overhyped, or is it something else? Like Vidas, what do you think?
It's done. I mean, it's already done, the transformation. There is no going back, I would say. It is overhyped as well, but not in a bad sense, maybe. It's usually, when some business area becomes hot, it attracts a lot of smart people. And I think AI transformation attracts all the builders. I'm not saying people like me, but people who like to solve problems, yet they always didn't have full capability and power or time to solve those problems, but they're passionate about it, and they are everywhere. Probably from someone working in a factory to someone working at the workstation in the office.
Yeah.
It's just their passion. And now the tooling allows to do way more. And I was always fascinated, like we have customers in US, how different thinking they are compared to customers in Europe or in like even more conservative countries. And there are many examples what is conservative. Like somebody can start by like, oh, I'm afraid of some technology because it has a risk. While in US, it's being like cherished and taken without thinking about the risks maybe up front, because it's so cool to build something. And that means people get more time or more power to do what they love, and they will work differently, and everybody's going to get exposed because other people will see, okay, so now there is this guy or gal who is doing this and I'm not doing this, so what happens with me? Business will see it the same way. These two can output amount of X people, and not 2X is way like 5 times more if you're really serious about it. If you're just ChatGPT prompting, that's not AI. That's like scratching surface. Yeah, exactly. It's just a faster horse. But if you want a car, you need to go deeper, where actually AI does the work for you, like really. But still, humans are in the loop. That's where the quality comes in. So for us as well, we're now just discovering, like my company now creating a new product version of Teamhood, major version from scratch.
Yeah.
Because we said we need to be AI first, like not AI on top. Our tool needs to be like a database that is transparent to the AI, and they can, do a lot of things with tooling. And I think what we're now discovering is how much do we interfere? Because I think, as a lot of people talking, coding is solved, design is solved, product management is solved. I don't think humans are that necessary anymore. But where the human comes in, like who ensures the quality, who ensures the AI understands the big picture and builds towards the right direction. How much do you need to tell? Like, how much do you need to change the way you work? And I think my reality, you need to change a lot. And it's either all in or just a bit will be a very painful and slow process.
So what's the major difference then? Do you need to follow the example that you've given, just rebuild the whole solution from the ground up if you have that capability to be AI first? Or is there like a slower transformational process that people can go through?
There are many playbooks probably in this case. You don't need to invent a new one. Like when I was working in a bank, there were always multiple options, like rebuilding the system, cutting system in pieces and building one piece at a time. Changing facades and putting a new stuff under the facade once it's working. You know, many options. Layering like a cake. You change one layer, another layer. But it's up to the organization, right? How much money they want to invest.
Sure.
Do they have the skill set to go big boom, or they need slow, less painful process? Will people accept the change? And in large organization, that can be very challenging.
True.
It's not an issue by given, but I mean, come on, you come in and from one day you say, hey, this engineering department now needs to marry to project management because actually these are same person. It's the same person. Now with AI, it can be the same person with both angles if your approach to things is on the line with it.
That's a big if. So then, Jonas, what do you think? Are you on the same page here?
I was very anxious to step in, so I'll just start by giving 2 examples. First, general AI, like no SOE. Now it's best to be in the shovel business. So you sell you sell the shovels and give them to dig for AI golds, and you then become rich. Talking about SOEs, LTG, well, there's like organizational levels of AI adoption. There are 5 of them, and first is like exploration. People know about AI, they're skeptical about AI. I bet you heard about it. Second is like you have some most valuable players, MVPs. They do some proof of concepts, some pilots. The third layer is like you integrate, you try to build your like AI departments and so on and so forth. So where we at? We in my opinion, at around somewhere second and above stage level. We already passed the skepticism. I'm talking from my like small circle.
Sure.
In 6,000 people. I cannot speak for everyone. And from what I see, you're not working with AI. You're working in a change management position and implementing a new software for people to work with. That's how I look at it. And from the basis psychological point of view, you have to roll with it because imagine before you have like a fax machine, you have the calculator on the table, and suddenly you bring a computer with a huge keyboard. You will work with this now. It's better.
Mm-hmm. And we still have friends who work like that, right?
Yeah, of course we do, but those are epic guys, old school businessmen. Yeah. They need to do that machine calculation for them. That's another topic. So you bring the whole change management curve. Maybe you are an MVP and as a manager, and you go to a guys, okay, we'll do it like this then. Come on, man. We like to do it the other way. It's the best way as we always done. Then you have to do all the calculations, the usual thing, and it takes time. It takes time as with any other software to adopt. What's different this time? In my opinion, the slower you do this, the less energy you put into it, you won't get those gains, because when you learn something nowadays, after 1 month, the technology might be changed, and there's the learning curve is a lot steeper. It goes faster, like with other systems before. So you have to force yourself as a manager, as an organization. Like Microsoft CEO Sadell said, you don't be the know-it-all guy. Mm-hmm. You be a learn-it-all guy, and every day you go with a fresh perspective, and you try to adapt somehow, think about it. For example, in LTG, we have around 200 systems. Let's call them systems, IT systems, right? That's huge, from signaling to internal to whatever. Some of them are new, some of them are old, some of them running analog code. So you have to build up some transfer systems that would recode those things, then AI can work with them. And it takes time, not only with people, but with the asset heavy stuff that we have. So it's a huge process. It's going to be a huge undertaking. And I see a lot of work, especially with data management. And I have some good examples of how to do it.
Like what? What's your good example?
Yeah, for example, that HR tool. That's an interesting story. For example, they uploaded like internal like processes about HR, like hundreds of documents.
Yeah.
And imagine those documents were written in a different time, and they had like some kind of pictures inside it, some kind of schemes that were hard for AI to read. And those documents were like bad. It wasn't usable. You couldn't get any output from it, but you had them. So what happened then? From reverse engineered, the team went and fixed all the documents. That was like a benefit from adopting AI. You streamlined, you smoothed your processes, so it's better for AI and better for human. So right now, in my opinion, when you're working anywhere, SOE, different corporation, when you try to adopt a process, a new workflow, you not only have to think about human interaction, you have to think about AI interaction. How would AI read this process and how can you like implement into it? So it's a huge undertaking.
So does that mean that you're going to change all of those processes within the HR department? Or
they already changed.
Oh, wow.
Already changed. Team is working it, iterating it. So those old ones are changed already.
Okay. Talking about speed. Again.
Yeah.
Okay. So then at the end of the day, we all accept that, AI is here and it is already impacting innovation and transforming how we work then. What do you think? We talked a little bit about the AI Act, and generally speaking, Europe is a much more regulated space than the US or honestly any other market like China or India or anywhere else. Does that mean that we are going to be losing on speed here in Europe versus everybody else, or do we still have a chance to compensate with the other two parts of the triangle? Vidas, what do you think?
I think that's not gonna obstruct the speed in general with these safeguards or guardrails. I think Europe has its own thing. Like in Europe, we value quality of life, quality of things, being more we want to give our civilization a better world by placing some safeguards. And there are very good examples. Of course, there are very bad examples in that. So, for example, one on the good side could be like, if you look about what kind of laws govern what type of food can we import, what kind of things that should go into the food. We are pretty strict compared to US. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I would like to be healthy, actually. I don't want to, eat stuff which is not really cool in 20 years for me. I get cancer for. But then each day I open a browser and see a GDPR cookie notice. I cry a bit inside because it's Europe's delivery of innovation, same way like a bottle cap. It just annoys you. It's nice, and when it had a good idea, but the final outcome, we can just delete all those cookie notices. Everybody knows it. Who cares? So a balance. And with AI, if we are ambitious in business and ambitious to compete, the governance doesn't obstruct that. It's more about how many ambitious people can we gather in one room and how much freedom they will get from financing something and getting the right people to work with them. I think that's where it comes from. And we do have like Lovable, for example. That's a Swedish startup. Come on, it's coming from Europe, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's already in San Francisco because that's where you get skills and money.
Yes.
And they
Mistral,
work
too.
differently. That's the sad reality. I go to kids and go to ride a bike in a park in the US. They keep working overnight.
They don't have vacation.
It's our choice. What do we want out of life?
Yeah. It's like I have a lot of things to comment on, but Jonas, let's hear your take first and foremost.
Well, EU AI Act. Thank you, Vidas, for mentioning the bottle cap meme. Also, it's my favorite. What I get from this, Europe, it's a heart of our Western civilization, as we see from this. So we work from a huge cultural background, and this background gives us like deep historic knowledge to make things sometimes complicated. But in other times, these complications might benefit us all in the future, like Vidas mentioned. Where I'm getting at, AI Act, we're innovating in EU legal acts. We're innovators in legal in the whole world. Stick with me. So we because everyone else is not focusing on it. It's just wing it, see if it sticks. We are innovating in legal, and we're building the foundation that would be acceptable for all the businesses, the clients, the people, for a sustainable AI adoption. And I guess you have to start somewhere, because from some examples, things are getting maybe out of hand with the data leakages, private stuff that is out there, some deep fakes that are also affecting public opinion, affecting elections, and we have to counter it somehow, because some people are spending like millions into this stuff that is it would be illegal, like in normal legal world. It would be illegal. So I think that's a huge foundation, brings us a huge security and a framework that is understandable for all. We are humans. We need rules. That's it, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. So talking to both of you, what you both mentioned in one way or another. So like, I personally like the structure that regulation gives you. You know, first and foremost, it gives you a guide on what to focus on. So you mentioned cookies, for example. At the very least, it raises awareness of the general public that such a thing exists and what this thing can be used for. Personally, I mentioned it several times on the show, I think. I like it, not for the user experience, of course. Nobody likes opening it up every single time and clicking and clicking. But I like that it's there because, I have the option to opt out. Because every time I'm outside of Europe, that option is suddenly gone. And that, I remember the pop-ups. And that's still somewhere in the back of my mind where, okay, oh my God, I just need to imagine how much stuff are you currently collecting about me. And since I am a little bit in the tech field as well, so I see implementations that are irrespective of cookies, and then you just have just complete screen capture of every single user that goes into your website. Do the users understand that they consent to that every single time that they go to your website? No, of course they do not. But with this, they at least have the option. And when I look at the AI Act, I also see those levels that you just mentioned, and I see that, okay, yeah, so organizations can make at least a choice, a conscious choice for themselves of which level they want to address, and then which level, theoretically, they will exist within.
For example, just what I see ahead, what will happen, maybe in the procurement contracts and tenders, there will be some notes that you must comply with this act, and that's how maybe Europe will protect its market somehow by having those rules and make those products special. So
yeah,
but that's absolutely straight to the point. Good comments on the end value. That one I totally agree. UX side, it's surprising, but that's the problem of the governance. It's budget driven. When you get budget to develop new laws, regulations, there is no budget for marketing. Usually, like in business, it would be.
Sure.
And the point where people get to understand why it is the way it is, why we're doing it, is hard, Because for me as well, when I first time heard about the AI Act, I thought, okay, so yeah, let's put the brakes on. But then when I get to read it and I saw a very nice presentation, what are the benefits of it? If everybody could see it, then it's nice. Because it might not be for me, or maybe for me, but it can be for certain group of people. For example, these scammers that call you.
Oh yeah.
Our parents are at risk, and now people can mimic your voice, your video, everything can be mimicked or faked. And if there is no regulation, there is no way to prosecute that, first of all. Like, who told you that we cannot do fakes?
Yeah.
Common sense? Where is that in the legal books?
Yeah.
So the act would establish that basis where if you're not marking content as AI generated, you're exposed to, law.
Yeah.
Where you can get charged for that. And that's actually the end value, protecting, like, as you both said, protecting people.
Yeah. Yeah. It also speaks to that point you mentioned about the cultural differences of, Europeans like to leave work at like 5 o'clock and spend times with their families. Americans, on the other hand, maybe would like to do something like that, but they don't have the option to. So the same goes to AI implementation and innovation. Like, what even is innovation, right? Is innovation replacing every single job with an AI tool that does its work probably worse, but faster and cheaper? Is it truly innovative, or is it just profitable for the shareholder?
Exactly.
Hard to say at this point in time, right? The market will balance itself out over time. True innovation will probably stay on top, while fake innovation will just die out with time because people will not use it.
Yeah, charlatans are everywhere when it's
Yes.
hot.
Yes.
That's easy.
But with the speed that things are happening, like when I mentioned OpenClaw, like so fast, like what a regulatory body would not be able to do anything in that sense. 3 months ago,
Impossible.
nothing existed.
Impossible.
And then it was bought by, again, Facebook, one of the giants in the world. And you cannot
And
do
it might
anything
not
with that.
even exist in half a year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
regulation would be pointless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, like it's a choice. And I personally mentioned several times that I prefer the kind of, not the slower innovation, but the thoughtful innovation that Europe is able to do. But at the same time, sometimes we are lacking in some source of innovation that other countries and other
You win
continents
some,
can-
you lose some. Like
Yeah. You cannot be the best at everything, right? You have to make some compromises. And even with the bottle cap example, right? Is it annoying? Yeah. Does it reduce waste? I hope so. I haven't checked the numbers, honestly. So.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers as well.
Yeah, but I
know
hope
when
so.
it sticks in the eye.
I hope so.
That one I noticed.
you rip it off usually.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't do that. Because then it's even more defeated purpose, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we mentioned people that are inside of innovation a little bit as well, and they are the driving force behind innovation most of the time. Most of the interesting ideas come from people just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. For example, in your HR department example, like if people do not raise that capability, nothing gets accomplished. And Vidas, you mentioned that basically most parts of the software development the software development process are now solved as a problem. And now basically there's talk of, one-man founders who can make the next unicorn on their own.
Recently, 2 men made over 1 billion company in the United States.
Great. Which one is that?
It was it was a man and his brother. They did everything with AI. So it's like a telemedicine, some kind of software. It was crazy. 1 man billionaire.
Yeah, so we are 3 behind this table. We should already have like 1.5 billion at the very least. We should do that. So what's your take then on the role of humans moving forward? So Vidas, you mentioned that it's basically like you need to do basically more, right, with the tools that you're given, but how do you see it moving forward? What do people need to prepare for?
I'm not sure, because it will be way different. In 3 months ago, it was different. In a year time, it will be crazy different. And whether humans will be still, looking at terminals and prompting AI, or whether they will be, you know, lying on the couch and just saying, oh, that I like, that I don't. And then AI goes and does everything. So we don't know yet. But that's changing. I think the biggest problem now is some people who are really excited about it have this problem of fear of missing out. So they have anxiety about missing out things, and that's actually a very sad part. Then there is a group of people who fear the change, like they, as you mentioned, like some people can be against the change because that's how they work.
Or change champions,
tens of
on the
years.
other side.
So they have anxiety of job security, maybe, and then people who still cherish the change and they are diving deep, they have a problem of anxiety of context switching, because at least for me, I see this is humans' limits. I mean, AI makes us faster, extremely faster. More stuff can be outputted, but who's gonna consume it? Who's gonna accept it? Verify that it's still on the same level as a human being would make it. That's still not solved that well. And the human in the loop is now becoming more and more expensive, I would say. So I feel like if we can code multiple things at the same time, but can I review those multiple things at the same time? No. 2 max. If I go free, I will start doing sloppy job on one of them, because that's my speed, that's my,
So you're the
the
bottleneck.
limit. Exactly. Exactly.
So should AI replace CEOs then?
In Terminator movie, I think they did. And it doesn't matter if it's CEO or not. It's like all the management who are, accepting decisions, verifying, confirming something, because it's not that much different. Like before you had you have 100 people working in the department, right? Like Jonas has a department and he has middle management. He would not survive without middle management. He would die from all the problems coming to him every day. There is this and this, there is that. You go nuts.
Sure.
And I know I almost did that myself, went nuts because of that. So the same with AI, how many things you can run alone? Will you have AI for AI? Maybe. I don't know.
Theoretically,
that's how it should work. So it's just, same structure, just maybe some layer will be replaced. But human is still somewhere and quite a bottleneck.
True. I do remember a quote, vaguely remember, I don't remember who said it, but basically a computer cannot be liable for the decisions it makes, and as such, it cannot be the one making the decisions, basically. So it cannot be in the decision-making roles, at least now. And it's an older quote. It's from the 70s or something.
I would bet.
Yeah, so
And how it's working like that right now.
Yeah, but now we are getting much, much closer
Going
to that.
to the border.
And so that's where regulation come in. That's where we both mentioned, right? If something happens, who is liable? If the AI can be liable, as an example, probably a company that supplies that particular AI or the people who manage it, then that problem is basically solved. Yeah, it can make a decision because it is responsible for that decision, and sometimes it can make a wrong decision and it can bear the consequences of that wrong decision.
I really fear one thing to happen with all this innovation and technology, where humanity loses ability to think. That's like this example, we like to joke about the innovation in finance, where you can buy something now, pay later. And in US, people already have debt on Starbucks because they take coffee now, but pay in 5 installments, which is 50% more the price in few months. Insane, right? True. But that's not driving nice things to humans. It's driving the opposite. Same way we hear about advertisements about gambling and all that stuff. That's BS, right? It's driving wrong things. So with AI, do we lose ability to make decisions? Oh, ChatGPT, should I get a Starbucks flat white or large cappuccino right now? Then you wait. It's cappuccino. That's what I fear.
I'm afraid it's already happening, unfortunately. But Jonas, what do you think? Is the same type of thinking applicable to a much larger organization where, is a future where the Lithuanian railways are governed mostly by artificial intelligence feasible and possible, or is that just too far away?
Coming from Lithuanian Railways, I have to emphasize that people is the biggest treasure of all, because we work in such a field that we are in need right now of experts of railways, because this profession is in a decline. And we try to proactively recruit people to work here, because it's not like a high fashion bliss profession if everybody wants to.
And you
But
don't mean programmers, right?
no, not programmers, but all the people other, because of different business models. We need people. Without people, railways wouldn't exist. So we treasure our people. And where do I see like how AI comes into this in the future ahead? I see all the data, like the mundane work that you have to like do in Excel, do that. It becomes so integrated into all the systems and automatized. So you have people who are experts in their field in railways. Well, for example, they like manage a railway yard, and they see that some things AI gives them suggestion that you need to improve something, and they do it. I see input like this in the future. We just need to wait a little bit. Yeah.
How much? How much do you think we need to wait?
Well, it depends. I think on some cases, things are moving fast. For example, we have huge data assets already. Few years to get to the level where we can do everything with AI to do all the suggestions, calculations, and we have other like legacy systems that we still need to work on. So it's like this. So from a couple of years to like more.
But I'm guessing AI won't be able to cover the those people that work in railways on the ground. The ones that build the rails,
This is out of
maintain the
our-
trains.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about that, but we also have some innovations in those parts
What
where
innovation?
we have like huge railway yards, and we use like maybe you would call it like operation optimization or something like that, but it's also an innovation. We use like drones with cameras and to manage our yard somewhere. We also did a pilot project and use a Boston Dynamics LiDAR robot to inspect the rolling stock. So some of the parts, yeah, but you still need people, need experts, and you'll always need them because you work in a physical field. The land might be different. The robot could not go there.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe there's bad weather, drone cannot fly, and you still need to inspect the yard. So different business.
Yeah, so I'm guessing all of the product managers and project managers and mid-level engineers who are not the best in their fields are just going to go and requalify into, railway maintenance.
Doubtful. There's a lot of places to work. Like you
For now, let's see in a couple of years what happens.
Yeah, but from my personal view, I guess I get sometimes anxiety from the AI stuff because I want to learn it all. I have a special like prompt that updates every day at 8 p.m. to get me all the AI news, what's new out there. So I'm in that kind of mindset. I want to like.
Yeah, you have a FOMO.
Yeah, I have FOMO. Yeah, a little bit.
That's the attention economy. That's
Yeah.
driven by Silicon Valley and everybody else. Everybody's fighting for a second of your attention. Even now, even we are. That's what we are doing, basically. We're producing content that
Exactly.
we hope is going to be consumed by people, and we are
We're the
fighting.
contributors
Yeah.
of our own anxiety.
Yes. And it's probably going to be a short somewhere where I'm shouting like, hey, you, stop looking at your screen.
Yeah.
Listen to us talk about
Stop
innovation.
scrolling.
Stop scrolling. Yeah.
Should we stop? Nah,
No, let's do it. There's enough space. The good thing is that there's enough space for everybody's content. Maybe not at the top, but somewhere along the line, we will survive. But yeah, so then what it comes down to at the end of the day is the balance, I guess, right? That's kind of the through line of our discussion, where there is innovation, both in larger corporations and in startups, and that innovation can be done cheaply and fastly, and even in a good quality, but probably not all three at the same time, right? that is still kind of the driving factor behind it. AI cannot solve that. And people in the middle, they are still there, both in startups and in larger corporations. But those people just need to do things differently, more open to AI, like considering it as an existing force. And regulations, of course, also affecting us from all times and all sides. Quick question, by the way, Jonas. Why did you decide to build a tool internally and not go outside and buy something? Because I'm guessing there is definitely a startup somewhere.
There's a lot of tools startup, but look at this at a point where, at this point of view, what as I mentioned before, the stages of companies were like at the stage 2, and we had like a team that wanted to do it, proof of concept, and based on that, they did it. Based on the security reasons, because if you hire some kind of third party, you're gonna feed them all your documents the same way, and you're gonna need to fix them to do it, but you'll have an intermediary that you'll have to pay a fixed cost. Maybe it somehow balances out, but it puts a third party inside your system. And since it was like a pilot, a first time thing, the management wanted to try it, and it worked great.
So basically, then it becomes more expensive, I would say, than to buy a startup. At the same time, more
We did
reliable.
a calculation of business case, and it's making a profit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
As
not.
I'm
it's
trying
not like
to find
this.
some downsides, but I cannot. It's
No, we do
so many
IRRs,
assets,
like
so fast,
paybacks, everything.
and it's profitable. Oh my god, that's why it's very hard as a startup to compete with existing businesses, regardless of what industry they're in. Just too many assets.
Yeah, we're not selling this product outside.
Yet. But yeah, let's try and wrap our discussion by talking a little bit about the future. And we've talked a little bit about the future. So Vidas, what do you think from the startup perspective? There are many more startups that are being founded, and both funded and founded. And the people that are inside of those startups are also changing, and more people are able to do startups, I feel. So what's the next big thing? Will everybody be a product creator like yourself, or will everybody have their own micro startup that solves their own problem, or will just startups cease to exist because everything will be done by AI and there's just no innovation left?
That's an interesting idea. Could be. Still, someone will still need to do the AI stuff. But so micro startups, that's already been there, I would say, for 10 years almost. And now it's nano startups, maybe. And I don't know what that means in reality, but maybe there are already startups where there is 0 humans. We need to check, right? But that I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah, me neither.
Like you ask an agent, hey, just figure the shit out. I don't want to run a startup. You run the startup. And by the way, there is one tool that does, but still, you're a human being who uses it. You need where there is no human being. But aside from that, I think it's changing the landscape. What can you venture in? I think, like for me especially, it's also a very challenging yet interesting time. Like, how will people use products? So, I see that, for example, so we're project management system.
Yeah.
What is the main issue there? Like Jonas said, there is monkey job filling in the data, getting the data, but without good data, you cannot make good decisions. Simple as that. And it doesn't matter whether it's a human or AI who makes the decision. It will be, crap in, crap out, like with audio. So that's where a lot can come in. And people, like if I'm a designer, I don't want to fill in, boring docs about what I need to do, how I did this and that, and it's specified in this documentation. No, I want to go do design. So let somebody do the data part for me. And systems like project management systems, like Teamhood, they need to go to the place where they are like databases. They are accessible, consumable, AI-first databases. And then there is no UI. The user experience now will be a chat window. That's it. And you collect updates and statuses not by asking humans to go and click button. Oh, it's done. Oh, I spent 2 hours here. AI does for that. inspects like what the human did on the machine, on the computer, what has been written in Teams or Slack, what has been sent to the email, what transcript from the meeting, what are the keywords mentioned, projects, everything is like, ingested. And then human doesn't need to do that boring job.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very near future.
I wonder what's left then. Hopefully, the fun things, not the...
Yeah, we go ride a bike, run, walk a dog, whatever, play with kids.
Subsidized by the government, giving like money for you, no work, just like Elon Musk said.
But then you need to go and spin the wheel to make the electricity, because who makes that?
You get a monthly check just
renewables. There's so many solar panels in Lithuania. For a country with basically no sun, there are so many solar panels. I'm always fascinated by that.
Oh yeah.
And the subsidies have been lowered. We'll see about that.
Not as profitable anymore. So, Jonas, what do you think? What's going to happen in 5 years in bigger corporations and in public-facing companies?
That's a huge ask, because like talking from a huge company point of view, like LTG, talking to all the shareholders who are like Lithuania Republic, my opinion is that we will do like incremental innovation, because of the asset-heavy things. We will linearly improve some things. Some things will be improved faster. Some things will be slower because of capex-heavy industrial projects that need time to build up. The cement needs to dry, because you cannot like build something like this. And the other parts, the progress will be faster. And in the final conjunction, by reaching the peak efficiency or value proposition for the customer, since we have a huge obligation, we are only the railway tracks are there, rolling stock is there, the customers are here. They do not have an option to choose for now from someone else, and we have to bring them the biggest value by seeking that innovation. AI is the only path forward, and we have to do it not only by AI. We have to do it by lean methodology, adopting other efficiency strategies that we can get from the market. That's how we are looking at things right now. It's the future ahead.
AI won't gonna challenge you by doing railways, right?
AI will be our good partner. Maybe you can analyze some kind of data sets, give us suggestions, but not only AI. There's a lot of space where you can do another innovations.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, thank you guys. I think it creates a picture that is both interesting, innovative and grounded at the same time. So we kind of, I hope, managed to cut through the hype a little bit and see that at the end of the day, people are still there. People are still needed to both startups and existing larger corporations. And new work is being created due to just innovation happening, not just by AI or through AI, but in a lot of things then thanks to it as well. And we will just see where
the hope is there.
The hope is there. A new hope for all of us.
It's gonna be great.
Thank you both. So where do people find you? Where do people read more of your thoughts? Vidas, where do people see
I
you?
do a few videos here and there in YouTube. You can find that. I'm more active on LinkedIn. I tend to give examples how we work, what's happening at the time. So if somebody wants to check it out, just Vidas Vasiliauskas in LinkedIn. I think there is few of them, but they will recognize.
We'll put a link in the description,
awesome.
So hopefully we'll find the correct one. And Jonas, what about you?
Just sure. Reach out on LinkedIn and we'll connect.
Sounds good. All comes down to LinkedIn. Soon there was going to be LinkedIn just for AIs. We already had a Reddit for AIs, even though that was a fake, I think.
For the open
a LinkedIn plugin that scans your profile and gives you suggestions how you should communicate with the person.
That's useful for sales stuff. Does not help, I think, but still, because people don't like talking to people they don't know. Anyway, thank you both, and thank you all as well for joining and listening to our episode here today. Did you like it? Leave a comment. Did you not like it? Leave a comment, because the algorithm thrives on comments, and as more inflammatory they are, the better it is for the algorithm as well. So if you are very angry and you didn't like a single thing that we have said today, do let us know. We value your feedback and we will share it. And subscribe to our channel and see the next video when it is out. Thank you very much and see ya.